Hey everybody, it's Dave coming to you from the fire pit here in Southern Maryland. It's Thursday afternoon. It's pretty early. It's like 3:30, and it's about 45 degrees out. It's kind of a perfect day. Pretty blue sky. A lot of vapor trails or contrails or whatever in the sky today. Some light clouds, but beautiful out right now. So we're early today because I gotta leave. I gotta leave the house here about 8 o'clock. Sean lands at Dulles like 9:15, so I'll be leaving here at 8 o'clock tonight. So I wanted to sit down and have an hour or two out here, smoke a cigar, probably create a 30-minute video. I've told you that before. My videos end up being about 30 minutes out here, but I'm out here about 2 hours, and it's a nice break, nice cigar, have a drink, spend some time with you guys. So I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna show you what we're smoking tonight. It's one of my favorites. It's a special. I don't smoke these too often. So this is a Cohiba Black. It's the Gigante, which means it's a 6x60. Comes in its own, I think it's aluminum tube. Comes in its own sleeve, its own cedar sleeve. I have done a flat cut on it already. But there's your Cohiba Black. This is a fine smoke, but this one does not fall into the budget friendly category. So I don't talk about them a lot. I don't smoke them a lot, but I do enjoy them. So there you go. Cohiba Black, the fine stick. We got to start on lighting it. So the Cohiba Black physically is a denser cigar. It's definitely rolled much denser, much more closely. The draw is a little bit tougher. I would say the tobaccos that are in here are what I would call oilier. It's harder to light. Once it's lit, it's fine, but getting it lit and getting it lit consistently across this huge 60 ring can be a little bit of a challenge. But these things taste amazing. Kind of on par with the Partagas Black. They're a little bit bold. They're probably bold plus, spicy plus, kind of in your face a little bit. It's got a wonderful smoky tobacco taste. Anyway, I could recommend them, but also, like I said before, they're not on the budget friendly list. So talk about the giveaway for a minute. So I've been informed by more experienced people than me that I screwed up and put GAW in the title of the video. So therefore, I think I have 150 or 160 entries already. So I'm keeping a spreadsheet. Every time somebody says I'm in, I put it on my spreadsheet, because otherwise I'll lose control of it really quickly. And then I keep it alphabetized. I make sure I don't have double entries and stuff like that. But I definitely screwed up, and I'm paying the price. And then after watching Ethan Parsimony's Pipers, his GAW video, he did it. You had to be subscribed prior to him announcing. So there's 2 lessons learned for me. Only do it for those subscribed to you, and never use the word GAW in your title. So lessons learned. I guess I should acknowledge too, I've had so many people comment on and congratulate me on breaking the 1,000 subscriber level. I guess I've been told by a few that's a big feat. So I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you to all you subscribed to me. You 1,000 people that have subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. I'm not much for subscriber counts. I don't really know what it means, because in my experience watching YouTube for the last 10 years, I've seen some absolutely dog shit human beings with 1 million viewers or 1 million subs, and I've seen some unbelievably great presenters with less than 100 subs. I just can't tell what it means, but I mean, I must have had 50 of you say something, so I just wanted to acknowledge it and say thank you for that. So, um, yeah, I don't even know when we went over 1,000. The comments started coming in last week, so I guess it was probably sometime last week. I guess we're on the march to 1,100 now, right? Whatever that means. So, I gotta tell you, what's far more meaningful to me is what's been happening to the channel over the last week or two. And that is the number of comments and questions and back and forths I've had, both text and by comments on the videos. It's really been heartwarming. I'm developing really good relationships with a whole bunch of you, and you guys make great comments, and you give, great real life experiences from your life. I guess most of you don't want to put it on a video. And you ask me follow-on questions, so I just really appreciate that. The number of comments and the level of interaction I'm getting is, completely amazing to me. So thank you for that. Yeah, so my interaction with you is far more than important to how many subs are on the channel. I can't equate sub count to channel quality. I just don't know how to do that. The other thing I should address is I made the comment that I'm a weirdo and the channel's weird, and how many people responded back with, yeah, it's a weird channel, it works, don't change a thing. So I'm probably gonna get t-shirts that say something like keep Dave weird. But yeah, so we're to stay on course. I really didn't ever plan to change it. I've been different, odd, weird my whole life, so no reason to change at 60, right? So on a totally personal note, my it's really fulfilling to watch the relationship between my daughter and my wife. They truly are best friends, which makes it bad when my daughter leaves to go back to school. But like today, they went Christmas shopping, and then they went to a big, huge Amish market, and now they came home, and now they've gone off to ride horses together at the farm. So it's just wow, it's heartwarming to see how happy my daughter being home makes my wife. It makes her a different person. That's pretty cool to see. All right, guys, stay with me on this one. It's going to take me a while to get it out and talk about the issue. This has happened to me about an hour and a half ago. I walked into the house. It's Thursday. My house cleaner is here. As soon as I walk in the door, hey, Dave. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Man, I just cannot catch a break. So, man, that sounds bad. What's going on? Well, my HVAC system, the heater's not working. And I had the guy out, and I need a new compressor. It's going to be between $2,000 and $3,000 with parts and installation. And I was like, well, that sounds about right. We've had to do that a few times ourselves. She's like, I just cannot catch a break in life. And I said, well, when's the last time you had to fix it? And she goes, well, I had to fix it back in 2016. And I was like, oh my God, you haven't had a single dollar in HVAC repair in going on 9 years? I said, there's your blessing from God right there. You got 8 years without a single dollar. I said, you should really budget $3,000 a year into some repair, roof repair, foundation repair, window repair, siding repair, more HVAC issues, plumbing issues. I said, you own a home, and home ownership has all these things. So what you think is just life beating you down is just you not being wise enough to plan for what's been happening over the years and seeing that it's just going to keep happening because it's just part of life. And it was like a brick in my head that she interpreted an HVAC bill of $3,000 for the first time in 8 years as I can't catch a break in life. Her exact words were something like, That's a funny sentence. Her exact words were something like, "That's pretty stupid. Sorry about that." Her words to me were, if I guess 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 3 steps forward, 1 step back. Now the backstory to today is this is somebody who's been working with me for 3.5 years to get her financial life together. And we knew she was gonna have to buy a new car because her old car was 20 years old and had like 300,000 miles on it. So we knew eventually we were gonna have to do this. We were trying to get her, we were trying to work together to get her a point where she could buy a used car for cash, and not get herself into this huge debt problem that she had when she first started working with me. But one day she called me and said, "Hey, I'm looking at a new car. What do you think?" And she texted it to me. And I said, "You're looking at a $55,000 brand new Toyota Highlander. By the time you get out the door, that's going to be 60 grand. They're probably going to let you finance it for 6 years at $1,000 a month or whatever. And then your insurance is going to be triple at least what you're paying right now." I said, "I don't know if your finances could take that brick being laid on it, and for you to still meet your number one life goal, which is to own your own home in 10 years, which means you got to make double payments." Yeah, shit, you're right. That's why I called you. We hung up. I was happy. She called me again a week later saying, "Hey, I found another car. I'm thinking about buying it. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, we just had this conversation. Let's not have it again. If you want to buy the car, buy the car. Just be prepared for the financial implications against your number one goal in life." Well, then 2 weeks ago today, she showed up in a brand new car, and she's got a huge payment, and her insurance tripled, and that's the backstory to her not being able to catch a break in life when her HVAC broke today for the first time in 8 or 9 years. So anyway, that's the backstory. That's the whole story of what I want to say to you next. So for this individual, for 3 years, I've been trying to take the gun out of her hand and saying, "Don't blow your foot off. Don't blow your toes off. Don't shoot yourself in the foot." For years, and she kept finding new guns. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then she finally got one by me, and took a gun out and went to the auto store and blew her foot off. And that has been translated by her. These horrible decisions she's been making has now been translated into life is beats me up and I can't catch a break. So where am I going with all this? My point being, we can't live life making piss poor decisions, and then when something that we should be expecting but becomes real and we declare it unexpected, then say, "Well, I'm just one of these people that has no luck in life. Life deals me a bad set of cards, or I can't catch a break in life." When it's in fact our own decisions that put us in this situation. And a good example is if we don't have in our budgets for the year some fairly minor to medium repair in our home, that's our fault. That's us being naive. Especially if you're not 20 years old. I mean, if you've owned a house for a while, you're going to have a dishwasher go bad, a water heater go bad, a plumbing leak, um, a window leak, problem with the roof, HVAC or air conditioning. And if we don't budget for that, that's our fault. That's not life kicking us in the teeth. That's us being stupid and naive. And for us to call that life dealing me a bad deck is just stupid on our part. So please review life decisions, especially those that affect us going forward, not those in the past. I mean, review what you've done in the past and where's it burned you, and let's not repeat the error this year as we get ready for next year. Make good decisions, make wise decisions, make good planning decisions. These things should not catch us by surprise. None of us are dealt better cards than the next person, in my opinion. That just doesn't exist. the second part that's kind of a corollary to this is don't generate your own emergencies and then take it as a major plus that you dealt with them. When you generate your own problem and then you have to deal with it, it's hard for me to support declaring that a big victory. I got a couple examples. I've got a sister-in-law that is just hard on cars, and things like regular oil changes, or when tires start to go flat for no reason, and then you have a blowout out in the middle of nowhere. That's a self-induced gunshot wound. That isn't life dealing you bad cards. When your tires are bald and you've got 20,000 miles on them, it's time to put new tires on the car. Don't wait till you have a blowout in the middle of nowhere, or you can't get to work, or you can't pick your kid up from daycare because life dealt me bad cards and I had a blowout when we generated that problem. If you don't get your transmission flushed, if you don't get your differentials flushed, if you don't get your tires repaired or replaced, and if you don't do regular oil changes, you're buying a ticket to a bad situation in the future. Another example of this where we give ourselves our own emergencies is our bodies. If we eat like shit, sleep like shit, and don't work out, we can't complain about getting sick or getting fat or getting irritable bowel or diabetes or some of these other diseases that are just really food and sugar intake related, being overweight related, lack of exercise, lack of movement. We're buying those tickets if we behave in this way year after year. We eat like crap, sleep like crap, don't work out, gain a lot of weight. We're 50, 100 pounds overweight. And then we want to say we were dealt a shitty deal when we get a stomach cancer or diabetes or any of these other things. I mean, these are tickets that we buy every time we make a bad decision. We buy another part of that ticket, and most of the times we generate our own emergencies. I know people don't want to hear that, but my God, review the decisions we're making, and then which ones are bad ones, and let's change them. I'm just as guilty. I've got just as many bad decisions that I have to evaluate and make sure I change over the next few years. My God, I'm not being holier than thou. I mean, I've made plenty of life-altering bad decisions that I've had to deal with. I am at 60. I really tried to learn from those and try not to make any more. Not perfect, but I'm way better than I was 10 and 20 years ago. Just know if we make bad decisions, we're buying a ticket to a bad result. And the bad result isn't from God ignoring us or from life dealing us a bad deck of cards or can't catch a break, or life is just disappointing in reality. No, it's us. Most of what we face are our decisions coming back to haunt us sometimes years later. So anyway, just be aware of the decisions you've made and the results they bring. Be aware of the decisions you're making that are setting you up for a fall. It's akin to digging a hole out in front of you and then being surprised when you fall into the hole. So I've had two good questions come in the last 24 or 48 hours that I want to acknowledge the questions here. And I've got to do videos on them. One is, somebody asked, what are the 5 books that changed my life? I've done that video a couple times on here, but we've had a lot of people join the channel, so I'm going to do it again. There are really 2 books that completely changed how I think about life, but there's a few others that have changed how I think. So I'll get to your answer. I mean, I'm not ignoring you, and I responded to you telling you this, but I wanted to tell everybody that I'll get a video out here in the next few days that talks to what are the books I read that changed my life. And I'm always harping on you guys to read. The thing I would say that's a little bit could be seemed contradictory to that is if you're reading motivational book or self-help books and you're just reading one after another, that's probably wasted time. If you read more than one or two and don't get your shit together, it probably means you're not implementing what the books are asking you to implement. So, but I will do that. I will give you my list of books that changed my life, changed how I think, changed how I view the world. So that's coming. The second one was, how do I know when to take profits when I'm doing my investing? That's a pretty complicated video because I got day trading answers for you. I've got medium to long term and then fully long term investments out there. So we'll talk through all that, but that's going to have to be a standalone video because that's pretty complex. So I just want to acknowledge those two questions and then I will get on them. And it's a good leapfrog or springboard into, I love you guys' questions. I respond best when you guys make statements or ask me questions. You guys guide the content of this weirdo channel when you ask me questions, and I do love it. So I don't sometimes feel like some people seem like they feel like they're being a pain in the ass when they ask, like they almost pre-apologize for asking the question. I just want to make it clear that I absolutely love it when you ask me questions because it helps me guide where I go next with the videos. So those are the two I've got to address, and that's my sort of my open call for more either ideas for content you want to see discussed or questions you'd like to see answered. So switch topics. Those are sort of CEO-y kind of topics. Got a religious one. So one of my comments that came in today was, I'm waiting for a blessing from God. And that comment really stopped me in my tracks. I'm not going to out you. I'm sure you know who you are, and I'm in no way picking on you. My point for bringing it up is I think it brings up something that I see a lot in this world. Maybe it's always been here, but I see it a lot in today's world. Now, as I'm waiting for something, I'm waiting for God to do something good. Some of you say, well, I'm waiting for life to bring me something good. Well, I don't think life brings us anything. You know, usually it's God that brings these things and puts things in front of us. And the reason I bring it up is I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that we just sit and wait and God bestows upon us some amazing blessing. I mean, it might happen, and there are probably examples of it out there. It's a big world. But I'm not aware of any. Where you're just sitting around waiting, and this just amazing thing happens to you, whether you call it a blessing from God or life bringing you something good. I just think it represents a mindset that I just want to try to break. I want to break those chains around our brains and say, well, if I wait long enough, God's going to give me something good or life's going to bring me something good. And I just want to say, I don't think it works that way. Okay, weirdo. Well, how does it work? In my opinion, you choose to go after something, some goal, something, and you strive for it as hard as you can with every fiber in your being, with every free moment, every moment you can free up to that endeavor. And you work on it as hard as you can, and you pick an endeavor that benefits others, not just you. And eventually, as God sees you being serious and committed and consistent with this, He will then get behind you. I call it God putting His hand on your back, the wind at your back, the universe getting behind you, however you're most comfortable saying it. But you have to take the initiative. We have to take the initiative. And you know, I'll use me as an example. When I started my company as a one-man show, I started it because I knew I was going to get fired. I've said that before in my other videos. I created my own company. I quit, left, and started my own business. Now, God gave me a blessing with an Army colonel who asked me if I would come help the U.S. Army, and I did. So I created the company, but we blew up over the 25 years I owned the company. We went from 1 to 500 people. We went from making, $50,000 to making literally almost 60 million a year. And I believe part of the reason that success came to us is our whole company, the whole intent of our company was to make the bubble around the United States stronger, more consistent, and to make the American way of life safer. So a lot of what we did benefited 350 million people. And in addition to that, every time the company got blessed, we used it to bless more people. We brought in people and we gave them chances, we gave them jobs that no one else would give them. And so we helped at the micro level by giving 500 people jobs who probably wouldn't have been given jobs like that by any other company. And then the larger goal was to make all of us safer as a way of life. And I think God saw that year after year after year and began to bless us. I mean, it was 7 or 8 years of just pure struggle before the first real blessings came in. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on that. I just wanted to bring it up. If you feel like you're waiting for life, if you're waiting for God to just miraculously drop a blessing on you, I would say stop that as a practice. Pick a goal that helps others and begin to work towards it with absolutely everything you're able to do it with. All right, guys. Well, I just assembled all the pieces. We're at 26 minutes, and I don't want to go much longer. It's starting to get dark. It's starting to get chilly out here, actually. I'm at the end of my cigar. I'm at the end of my drink. Want to get this out, get it uploaded, and get it to you before I have to head off to the airport. So I think we'll call it the end of the evening for us together. So I ask that God bless you and bless your life and those around you in your life. I ask that God turn his ear to your prayers. I ask that God make his face shine upon you and bless your life like he blesses mine. Guys, I hope you had a good Thursday. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're enjoying this Christmas season. Again, I'll say it again. Merry Christmas to all of you. Hope you got a good Friday in front of you. Hope you got a good weekend coming up. And that's really it, you guys. We will have a good night, and we will talk to you probably again tomorrow on Friday. Good night, everybody.